Hello and welcome to the New Consultant Training. My name is Ron Clark, and along with my wife Kim, we're executive consultants out of Newark, Delaware. The system you're about to see using the 5-minute Energy Gold Rush video is the same system that we use to promote to executive consultant, even though our state wasn't open for the first 29 months that we were with Ambit. I want to encourage you to go through this system more than once. You can pause the video and take notes as you go, but you want to stick to within this system. If you have an opportunity, get with the person that sponsored you or with your team leader or even with us and role play a little bit before you start contacting people. I promise you, if you'll use this system the way we have it laid out here, you not only can promote very quickly, but you can maximize the amount of money you make in a very short period of time. Now, before we get started on the training, I want to review with you the top 10 reasons why consultants should consider using the Energy Gold Rush 5-minute video. So here are the first 5 reasons as to why the Energy Gold Rush system is so advantageous to use. First, it's great for people with a large sphere of influence who have limited time. Think business professionals, people who own businesses, doctors, and so on. These are folks who have very demanding careers, as well as many of them are married, have children, so they have personal responsibilities as well. So free time is at a premium for these people. But they know so many folks, and they have a large sphere of influence. So the Energy Gold Rush system allows them to still build an Ambit business and do it quickly without having to expend a lot of their time. The second reason it's advantageous is handicapped or homebound individuals don't have to depend on rides to physically meet with prospects. This now levels the playing field for folks who just are physically incapable of getting out as much as other people are to be able to meet with people face to face. The third reason allows brand new consultants to get off to a fast start and trigger jumpstart bonuses within their first week. You know, if you're on a limited time schedule, then you're constricted by the number of hours you have to be able to go out and show the plan. And for many people, they can only get to 1 or 2 people a week. Well, think of how a 5-minute video system and a few phone calls can get your business in front of 20 or 30 people in that first week. It's also fully duplicatable throughout your entire organization. Now, instead of it being personality driven where 1 or 2 people are exceptional at showing the plan but others are not, now everyone uses the same system. So it's no longer driven off of what 1 or 2 people have the ability to do, but now everyone is on the same level playing field. And then finally, it makes it easier for people in non-Ambit states to grow their business. We have consultants that are all over the United States in virtually every state in the union. And many of these states are not open yet. Some of them may not open for a very long time. But being able to market into the territories that are open makes it easy for these folks to build their business even though they are not physically present in an Ambit area. Additionally, it keeps you from running all over doing face-to-face business presentations. If you're busy, if you fit in any of the categories that I've already mentioned, you know, if you've only got maybe 3, 4, 5 hours a week to do this business, by the time you're done calling some folks on the phone and following up with others who've seen your presentation, you may only have time to do 1 or 2 face-to-face business presentations. That's another reason why I love this system. We can be showing this to 20 or 30 people in a week and never leaving the house or never leaving your job. So the system is working for you while you're living your life, doing your professional duties or your household duties. It's also, again, a systems-driven business rather than a personality-driven business. And here's what I mean by that. There are some people who are very good showing the plan one-on-one. And so when they sit down with somebody, they just have a very engaging personality and are able to sponsor a lot of people, probably a higher percentage than most people. I know my wife and I fit into that particular category, but the challenge is if we have that personality and very few other people on our team do, then everything falls on us to be running around and doing presentations for everyone. So your business really isn't growing unless someone is there with that personality doing the presentation for you. This removes all of that. It is a system that anyone can do, and as a result, since anyone can assimilate into it very quickly, it allows all consultants to get off to a fast start and continue to drive their business without depending on any one personality. There's also no more confusion about whether to gather customers first or recruit. This has always been a really big problem. People would go through the trainings and on the old 6-step trainings, and they would say to me and to my wife and to all of the leaders, all right, I see what to do, I see how to gather customers, and I see how to recruit, but how do I determine who do I talk to be a customer and who do I talk to recruit, and which one do I do first? And one of the things that we found was that if people focused on customer gathering up front, they had a tendency to continue to customer gathering without recruiting because it was easier. And then also we'd have the reverse side where people would recruit but they weren't gathering any customers and weren't triggering any bonuses. The beauty of the 5-minute energy gold rush video system is the system itself, the video, is segregating these people for you. So you're showing it to everyone and then following up with a very simple phone call with a very simple question, which we'll be reviewing here shortly. It also allows you, like I was mentioning earlier, you're going through a large number of people in a short period of time. All you're doing is sorting in this business. And that's faster than any other system that I've ever seen, and it allows you to promote sooner. You see, the thing in this business is not to get hung up on who's going to do it or who's not. You're going to have some people who you think are going to be wonderful at this, and they want nothing to do with it. And then you're going to have other people who you think, oh, they're just going to want to be a customer, and all of a sudden they surprise you, and they want to be a consultant. We've seen everything in the last 4+ years we've been in this business, so I can tell you the best part about this business is just being able to sort through a large number of people in a shorter period of time. And then finally, reason number 10 is it'll help you fast track to regional consultant in less than 30 days. And if you're brand new, which you probably are watching this, all that means is if you promote to regional consultant in less than 30 days, you will earn the Fast Track Regional Consultant pin. That is a pin that designates that you did something most people do not, and that is you were able to get to regional consultant in 30 days. The reason we like to fast track our consultants to regional is we like to see you get paid, and we like to see you get paid well, and we like to see you position yourself for starting to receive all of those downline override bonuses in the Consultant Leadership Bonus Program. So using the Energy Gold Rush system to fast track to regional consultant makes a lot of sense. Now before we get started, here's what I want you to remember. Speed is your strategy here. I don't want you to think you have to sit down and figure out a way to do this business. It's already been solved for you. In fact, Ambit has paid out hundreds of millions of dollars in commissions in the last several years to consultants. And it's because of systems like this, ones that have already been tested and proven, that they've been able to do that. So all you need to do is plug into this system, learn it by heart, use it each and every day, and you'll have the same kind of success many other consultants have had. So let's talk about step 1, the action plan to promote in 30 days. The first thing you want to do is write out why you're doing this business. I always like to tell new consultants why you're doing something is infinitely more important than how you do something, because anybody can be taught how to do something. It's having a reason, a heart desire to want to do it, to make sure that you'll follow through with it. That's really important. It's what will get you through the bad days or the down days when you're in business of any kind. And as long as you have that why, you're focused on your reasons. Maybe it's putting your kids through college. Maybe it's paying off some debts. Maybe it's financial freedom. Whatever you're trying to do, writing out your why clearly and succinctly. And you can have more than one reason for doing this. But writing that out and making sure it's somewhere where you can see it all the time is very important. We also suggest on day 1, making a list of 50 to 100 people minimum that you know. Now you can draw that list from your email contacts, your social media contacts, your cell phone, anywhere that you have names and phone numbers of people. We highly suggest you write those down. What I want to make sure that you don't do is just write down names and email addresses, because in this system you are not texting or emailing anyone. You're going to be contacting them by phone. So make sure that you have a good list. I would suggest condensing that list into one format, whether it be on 3x5 cards, in a notebook, Or what I recommend is having it with you at all times, maybe somewhere where you can put it in a spreadsheet in your phone, or at least on your computer on a spreadsheet. But whatever system works for you, where you can have access to that list at all times, that's the preferred method. And then we'll break down the weekly goal and the daily goal here. Your weekly goal is to expose 30 people to this video. Now, when you're only taking a couple minutes to invite people to watch the video, this obviously does not take very long to get that many people to take a look. And then your daily goal is just to contact 10 people with urgency and excitement. So in literally 20 to 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week, you'll be able to get all of these folks to go to that 5-minute video and then spend another hour or so following up with them on the phone. The important part is you're doing all of this without even leaving the house. So here's the invitation. These are the 2 scripts that I would suggest using. In fact, while you're on this screen, you can either take a screen capture of this or just pause the video right here and write these down, whatever you'd like to do. But also know that this is also in our training manual that's available on our website at www.clarkinternationalgroup.com under the section Consultant Training. And don't worry if you didn't write that down. You'll see it at the very end of this presentation. The link will be there for you. So the invitations are pretty simple. We have one for people that you're very familiar with, and maybe one for people that you're not so familiar with. You know, the first one for people you're familiar with, hey Bob, I need your feedback on a new business I've started. Can you give me 5 minutes and let me know what you think? It's really important to me. Or, Bob, I need a favor. I just put up a 5-minute video online for my new business, and I'm looking to get a lot of visits to my site to increase my search engine ranking. I don't care if you're interested or not. I just need you to watch it for 5 minutes and give me your feedback. Can you do that for me today? See, what we're asking people to do is to help us. And generally, most people are willing to help when asked for a favor. And that's the reason why we've constructed these scripts. My wife and I have used these to get people to go to the website, and we've taught many people to use these to get people to go to their website. They're very simple, and you can choose either one that makes sense to you. Some of the best advice I can give you is to avoid the valley of death. You know, there's a really popular saying in Ambit, the more you say, the less you make. Your goal is to invite people to view the presentation and schedule a callback. You do not want to verbally give them a presentation. And yes, I'm talking about everybody you know, even your close friend from college, or your mom or dad, or your brother or sister, or your best friend that you've lived next door to for 30 years. You don't want to give them too much information. It's not that you're trying to hide things from them. Again, all you're trying to do is get them to lower their defenses to watch this presentation without any preconceived notions. Alright, the next thing you want to do is schedule a callback. And during this first phone call with the person you're trying to find out when you can get back with them after they're going to watch this 5-minute video. And this is a very important step. And the reason it's an important step is if you send somebody the 5-minute video, but you don't tell them when you're going to talk to them, or you just tell them, hey, call me when you're ready, or I'll call you in a few days, or something like this, I can promise you they're not going to watch that 5-minute video, and even if they do, they're usually not going to get through it or not remember it. So you've really got to nail down a time. So that's why we start with, as soon as they're saying that they're willing to watch it, say, when's a good time to call you back today to get your feedback? Because I want to know when they're going to watch it. Listen, everybody's got 5 minutes in their schedule to be able to squeeze this in. So I'll be honest with you, if they're friends, I'll even make them feel guilty if they tell me they don't have 5 minutes. You know, you may have some people right here say, well, why don't you just tell me about it? I'll tell you, you know what? The 5-minute video will do it a lot faster than I'm able to do it, and I don't want to waste your time or mine, so I just need you to watch it. So when's a good time to call you back today to get your feedback? And say, okay, I'll put that in my calendar. I'll send you a text reminder with the 5-minute video link and our appointment time. Very important here. Do not email this information. Text it, and here's why. There's a lot of people who don't check their personal email on a regular basis. In fact, a lot of people who use email all day long at work do not want to check email when they come home. So as a result, they may not check their email until sometime next week. But studies have shown that if you text information to someone, they will usually act on that information very quickly. So it is highly likely that even though someone said to you they can watch that 5-minute video tonight at 8 o'clock, They may actually watch it right after you text them, and that's okay. But just make sure you're sending them the text with the link and the appointment time. It's important because you want them to see, here's the link that I need you to watch, and here's when I'm going to be calling you back. I normally would say that if they're going to watch it, say like at 8 o'clock, you give them a 10-minute window, call them at 8:10. So if they say I'll watch it at 8:30, that would be 8:40. Always add another 5 minutes on top of it, just in case they get a late start. And then finally, I'll say, look, no worries if this isn't for you. I just appreciate you taking a look at it. Again, you're trying to lower the defenses and just ask them to take a look at this. You're not asking them for any decisions at all. But make sure that you call them when you say you're going to call them. This can be a real problem if you don't manage your time well. That you told somebody you'd call them at 8:10, 8:15, and then it's close to 9 o'clock, and then you remember, ooh, I forgot to call them. You have to manage your time here well, and everybody that uses this system effectively is good at managing their time. Now, not all of them were good at managing time when they came into this, but they learned how to manage their time. If you're a little weak in that area, please get with one of your team leaders or with my wife and I, and we'll show you how to be a better time manager when you're dealing with this system. Alright, so let's talk about a callback where you've called at the time you said you were going to call, but the person's not there, they're not answering. First, let me tell you, you got to have the right mindset about this. It does not mean the person is avoiding you. It does not mean that they don't want to talk to you or they're not interested. It may mean that something else has come up that they've had to prioritize over taking this call. And guys, there's a million things that can happen, and there's always stuff going on in people's lives you're not aware of. So don't take this personally at all. Leave them a short message. Hi, John. As promised, I'm giving you a call back at 6 o'clock regarding my 5-minute video. I just want to get your feedback. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a call back later tonight around 8:30. And then click and you're done. Keep it short, sweet, and to the point. Don't leave them a 2-minute message going on and on and on. Keep it short and to the point. And remember, if you call them back later that day, I normally do not call somebody more than twice in a day, because then it sounds like you're stalking them and you're desperate. Don't do that. Call them back one more time. If it's later in the day, call them back the following day to do a follow-up. You'd be surprised. There may be some times where you don't hear from somebody for a day or two. They're just tied up doing other things. Give them a little space, and leave them a short video or a short message, maybe once again, somewhere a day or two later, and then give them time to call you back. So here's a callback where somebody answers. Hey John, as promised, I'm giving you a call back at 7:10 tonight. Did you get a chance to check out my video? Now I always start out with that question. Why? Because he may not have watched the video yet. Again, you put it on your calendar and you texted him. Maybe you texted him earlier in the day to ask him to watch this, and he just got caught up with stuff, didn't write it down, forgot all about it, things are going crazy in his life, so he didn't watch it, okay? Or maybe he did. So let's look at both responses here for a minute. Let's look at the no. He says, I have not had a chance to watch it. Then I'll ask, hey, do you have internet access right now? Go to, and this is our website here, guys, ronandkimclark.com. And just for those of you who may not have an Energy Gold Rush site, you are free to use ours. The Energy Gold Rush sites are only $10 a month. And if you refer 3 people to them that use them each and every month, you'll get yours for free. But to start your business, if you'd like to use ours, please feel free to use it. And plus, a number of your leaders and team leaders will have their own websites. If they prefer you to use theirs, please do so. Don't think under any circumstances that this is a system that you have to buy right away. And we have no financial interest in this at all. This is a separate system, the Energy Gold Rush system, that was created by folks that are in Ambit, but it is not an Ambit corporate video that's produced. It was produced by some consultants, and these are consultants that my wife and I have gotten to know really well over the last few years from using this system. So again, their heart is just to cover their own costs, and so if you don't want to invest in your own system right away, please feel free to use ours. We want to make sure everybody knows that. So if somebody has internet access, you have internet access right now, I'd like you to go to my website. They may not be able to go right now. And if that's the case, then you'll reset another appointment for them to watch it. Say, hey, can you watch it tomorrow for me? And, what's a good time for you? All you're trying to do is lead them towards an appointment. And I always emphasize if somebody has not watched it, I always emphasize how important it is to me. Say, John, this is really important to me. You'd be helping me out by increasing my search engine ranking, or you'd be helping me out by doing me a favor because I really value your opinion and your feedback on this. Can you spare those 5 minutes and watch it for me, and then I'll call you back, and then you just set a date and a time. Now, if they did watch it, this is a great question to ask. It leads people to one of two decisions, both of which work in your favor. What made the most sense to you? Saving money and getting free energy, or making money and getting free energy? The thing I love about this is I'm asking them in a roundabout way if they want to be a customer or if they want to be a consultant. That 5-minute video shows them a lot of information. And right there, it allows them, like I referred to earlier, it allows them to make the decision of what they want to do. Do they want to be a customer, or do they want to be a consultant? The one thing I will tell you is there are going to be some people that you're going to pursue for being a consultant, and all they want to be is a customer. You have to learn not to push too hard and to be grateful for them for wanting to be a customer. Again, it's a timing issue, and some people, it just may not be the right time for them to want to be a consultant with you. So accept them as a customer. I always make people feel like, wow, that is phenomenal. I want them to feel like, they walk on water because they're being my customer. I want them to know how special it is. Even if I was pursuing them to be a consultant and they decided only to be a customer, I never want them to sense like I'm disappointed. And so that's really important, is just let them decide for themselves what they want to be. And remember, you need customers, guys. You'll see that in our training manual, why customers are so important. They trigger bonuses, they create residual income for us. So I'm ecstatic when somebody wants to be a consultant or a customer. It doesn't matter to me. Something else to remember too, a customer today can be a consultant tomorrow. We're living proof of that. We have customers who were brand new customers when we first came into this business, who in our executive consultant code decided to become consultants. So they're worth more to us now than they were when we first came in. So as we look back on our business, we're grateful that they only wanted to be customers back then and are now building large businesses in our executive consultant code. So ask that question, what made the most sense to you, saving money and getting free energy, or making money and getting free energy? That's important. Now, one of the things that you might get right there is, tell me more about this free energy program, or tell me more about the making money side, or tell me more about how you make money at this business. Any questions like that should lead you right to the 16-minute video. Now again, the 5-minute energy gold rush system is a sorting system. It's not meant to get everyone to join you in this business. It's meant to keep you from wasting your time with traveling all over the place to find out if somebody's interested. It allows you to do this when you're off doing something else and they're watching the video. But when you call them back and they've watched the 5-minute video, if they say that they like the money-making option, then they're pretty much telling you they like what they've seen so far and they'd like more information. So if they like the money-making option, just tell them, great. Then go back to my 5-minute video website and fill in the short form on the left. The information just goes to us or my business partner. You're not going to get any spam. Fill that out, and then it's going to take you onto the longer video. So, this way they're able to skip that 5-minute video. They don't have to watch it all again. It will be playing while they fill out the short form. But if they fill out that form and click submit, it'll automatically take them on to the longer video, which will explain more information to them. Now let's talk about the 3-way call that I referred to earlier. The 3-way call is basically just a call with you and your prospect to a more experienced consultant. It is a system we use all the time. In fact, there's no one in this business that's making any money without using the 3-way call. Let me tell you why 3-way calls are so important. The 3-way call is important because people that you know that you're not an energy expert. They know that you don't know a whole lot about this. So if you attempt to answer their questions, number one, if you're brand new, you may answer them wrong. And number two, what you're going to give people the impression that they need to know a lot about the energy business before they can get started. And for most times, and I've seen people who want to sound smart and answer everybody's questions themselves, they'll sit in front of a prospect that's just like eating out of the palm of their hand. This guy loves everything they saw, and he's ready to get started. He's firing questions at you. You're answering them all without doing a three-way call, and at the end of all the questions, he looks at you and says, "You know what? I don't think this is for me." And you're sitting there perplexed, wondering, well, wait a minute. You know, he seems so interested, and I answered all his questions. I don't understand this. I can tell you, I do understand it, because here's what happened. You made him think by answering all his questions that he's going to need to learn all of that information too. And if he's got a busy life at work and a busy life at home, the first thing that's going to come to his mind is, I just don't have the time for this. Most likely, he's not going to tell you that. He's just going to use it as an excuse to move on. I don't think this is for me. Thanks for coming in, but I'm not interested. That's why a three-way call is so important. Because now you're calling somebody that is going to answer all the questions for you, who is an expert in this business. And so you're always going to use a three-way call when they're watching the 16-minute video, which is a follow-up to the 5-minute video that you started with. Remember, the 5-minute video is a sorting tool. It's sorting people who either aren't interested or people who want to be a customer, and you'll just stop right there with the 5-minute video. But then you'll have those people who are interested in knowing more, and you'll be directing them to the 16-minute follow-up video that we just discussed. What you're going to want to do is have a group text ready for people who are above you on your team or folks that your team leaders have assigned you to being able to call for three-way calls. And you're going to want to send a text message to all of them to see who's available while your prospect is watching that video over the next 15 to 16 minutes. At the end of the video, once you know who your three-way call expert is going to be, they'll usually text you back. And just as a side note, guys, you want to group text a lot of people, especially if you're doing this presentation or this callback on weeknights, Monday through Thursday, say between 7 and 9 o'clock, because a lot of leaders are tied up in meetings and so forth. So that's why you want to send that group text out to a large number of people. And again, your team leaders will tell you the folks that you can use for the three-way calls. Now, at the end of the video, after somebody's watched it and you call them back, use a very simple question. No small talk, no, hey, what did you like best, blah, blah, blah. Just ask a simple question. Are you ready to get started, or do you have questions? Now let's talk about the three-way call segue. After your prospect watches a 16-minute video and they have questions, as you ask them, are you ready to get started, or do you have questions? The moment they say they have questions, that's where you go into starting the segue to introducing them to the three-way call expert as your business partner. So we use a script here that says, I'm going to introduce you to my business partner, Ron, to answer any questions you might have. And then right here, you're going to give just a little bit of information, a little bit of credibility info before you hook up a three-way call with your third-party expert. Couple of things here. Before you hook up that call, remember again, you have to ask if they've watched the video. You don't want to be doing a three-way call and then find out that the person did not watch the full 16-minute video. So you want to make sure that's out of the way. Once it is, and you're doing that getting ready to do the three-way call, you're going to give a little information. So you do something like, I'm going to introduce you to my friend Ron Clark. He's an executive consultant with Ambit Energy. He and his wife have been doing this for over 4 years, and they're full-time with Ambit. So I've given just enough information to make it sound like, okay, this is somebody that, your prospect can learn from and get their questions answered by. But you haven't given so much information that there's nothing left to say once you hook them all together in a three-way call. So you give a little credibility, and then you say, and I'd love to hear his answers to your questions. Always have this script ready to go in front of you. If you're trying to do this without a script, you're really hurting yourself. So make sure you're writing this down or doing a screen capture, whatever. But it's also found in our training manual as well. You can print it out of there. You always want to have a script. And guys, my wife and I have been doing this for a long time. We're very successful at Ambit. I never make a phone call without a script. Why? Because there's just too many things that can distract you while you're on the call, and you can lose your concentration. Now, after you've done that, you want to connect the three-way call. And you're going to edify and introduce your three-way call expert and your prospect. And when I talk about edification on the following slide, you'll see more about edification. But you really want to make sure you're going through this person's personal, professional, and Ambit history. So it really expands your prospect's reasons for needing to listen to this person and get their questions answered. But you're also going to introduce your prospect too. You're going to tell the three-way call expert how you know this person, how long you've known them, and a little bit about them, professional life, personal life, so on. And the reason you do that is it gives them more to go on to find common ground, to kind of find a way to connect with that person emotionally in a very brief time. So you always want to make sure you're introducing both people very well. And then be quiet. I can't emphasize how important this is. There's nothing worse than trying to do a three-way call with somebody and there's just a lot of noise in the background, and it's so hard for the prospect and the three-way call expert to have any conversation because of the noise that's coming from the consultant that hooked up the three-way call. So the moment you do this, you want to mute your phone, whether it's a cell phone or a home phone, mute it. You don't want to stay on the line adding things in. I know some people want to continue to talk during a three-way call. It's the absolute worst thing you can do when you've introduced your prospect and your three-way call expert. You've got to remain quiet. Otherwise, you are undermining the authority of the three-way call expert in the eyes of your prospect. And all of a sudden, what you thought may have been somebody who was ready to come on is now not interested in coming on because they're thinking, well, if you have to keep reminding this person of things or keep saying all this stuff, how much of an authority can they really be? So it's really important that you remain quiet until the third-party expert calls you back on the line and, it tells you what to do from that point. You never want to remind them, quote unquote, of what they forgot to say or what they forgot to mention. There's usually a reason. If we don't mention something, there's a reason behind it. So trust us when we do this. If you want to mention it after you get off the call to your prospect, that's fine. But don't ever say something like, hey, Bob, you forgot to tell, Jim about this or that. It just, again, it undermines the authority of the three-way call expert. And there's a reason why sometimes we leave things out. Many times it's because we're sensing something that person's trying to get off the phone, or maybe they're ready to sign up and there's just no reason to go any further. So let's talk about how to edify your three-way call expert. You got to list qualities that show they walk on water both personally and professionally. Why? It's not because somebody's ego needs to be stroked. It's because the person that you're talking to, that prospect, knows you, but they don't know this person that you're introducing them to from Adam. So you need to make sure that you're giving them enough details to warrant listening to this person and believing the answers that they're being given. So give details on personal life. If your prospect is married with small children, it'd be great to have somebody on there that's married and has kids and understands what it's like to run a business with Ambit and be raising a family at the same time. Professional life. Primarily what my wife and I try to do is try to match up professions and genders. So if I have a woman who's a CPA, I'm going to darn sure try to find somebody who is a CPA in Ambit who is a lady and can relate to this person. So I'm trying to match genders in professional lives as much as I possibly can. Again, the more common ground you give to your three-way call expert and your prospect, the better. So, and again, you want to have all the details on this three-way call expert that you can get. All you need to do with all these folks is either text them, and you'll have their phone numbers. Your team leaders will give you the phone numbers and the names of the people you can use for three-way calls. Get with your team leader to get that information, and then text these three-way call experts ahead of time. And all these are other consultants who've had some success in Ambit. Send them a text, tell them who you are, tell them whose team you're on, and that you'd like to use them as a three-way call, and you'd like to know how they'd like to be introduced. And they will send you many times their information, or they'll send you to ambitsuccess.com. It's a website that Ambit has where you can go on and click on consultant profiles and enter in somebody's last name, and it'll give you all the information that you need about them, both professionally and personally most of the time, and with their Ambit accolades. Don't shortchange somebody on their successes. And here's why. The more you can say about your third-party expert, the better. Because, again, your prospect's going to think, wow, this person walks on water and I'm going to have a chance to get to work with this guy. So, proper edification sounds something like this. Bob, I want to introduce you to my friend John. John's been personally helping me in my Ambit business. John and his wife are from Wilmington, Delaware. They have 3 small children. John is a CPA and his wife is a dentist. But they still saw Ambit as a way to create a secondary income for themselves. In Ambit, they've been around for 2.5 years. They are executive consultants building a huge business. They've been on a 5-star trip with Ambit, which is a very prestigious award. They've also won a Pure Energy Award at the National Convention. They've got over 1,000 consultants on their team and thousands of customers. There's very little they don't know about Ambit, so I want to introduce you to my friend John. And John, this is my friend Bob. I know him for many years. We work together. We're also on the bowling league at work together. And John's married, and he's also got 3 small children. So John, this is Bob. Bob, this is John. And at that point is where you want to be quiet, mute your phone, and let your 3-way call expert take over and work with your prospect. And your 3-way call expert will lead them towards a decision. They'll answer their questions. Now, sometimes, even though the prospect may have asked you a few questions before you got on to the 3-way call, sometimes the prospect will freeze up. They don't remember all of their questions, and that's okay. What the third-party expert is going to do, the 3-way call expert, is going to share their story about what happened to them, why they got in. And a lot of times by sharing their story, they're giving that prospect time to think of some questions, and it normally will trigger additional questions by listening to their story. And so if you need more bios, again, go on to ambitsuccess.com or text the consultants that you're asking to be your third-party experts for 3-way calls, or you can go on our website, clarkinternationalgroup.com. You'll see that link here at the end as well, under consultant training. We have the bios of several people on our team and several people outside of our team as well. All right, let's talk about the final step, which is the close. What makes the most sense to you? Saving money and earning free energy, or making money and earning free energy? Very simple question to be able to ask anyone. This is after the 3-way call has been done. You've been released back with your prospect by the 3-way call expert. And a lot of times, if Kim or I are doing this call for you with a 3-way call, we will close for you. We will ask this question to your prospect to see if we can lead them towards a decision. So what makes the most sense to you, Bob? Saving money and earning free energy, or making money and earning free energy? And we will normally emphasize the last part. Because here's what I want you to remember. If they've gotten this far, they've gone through a 5-minute video, they've gone through the 16-minute video, and they've gone through a 3-way call, 99% of the time they are ready to move forward. It's no longer rocket science trying to figure out which category they want to be in. So they're normally ready to move forward as a consultant. And once we ask that question, if they say, well, I think I like the making money part, then we will release them back to you. And I normally will say something along the lines of, you know what, Bob, it sounds like this is for you. Sounds like this is something that, you think you can do with our help. So I'm going to turn you back over to Jim. I'm going to let him show you how to sign up. And then, as soon as you're in the system, you'll be getting an email from my wife and I welcoming you to our business, along with our contact information and anything you need to help you build your business, because we're your business partners now. As soon as you enroll as a consultant, we're your business partners, and we're going to be helping you from day one to realize everything that you want out of this business. So we're really trying, when we do the close, we're doing it for you. Now, some 3-way call experts will not close for you. They may be people outside of your organization, folks that are cross-line, and they may not feel comfortable closing people for you, because maybe sometimes some people don't like that. So they'll normally, at this point, rather than close the prospect, they will return it back to you. And this is what you'll do, is you'll try to close them by asking this sentence. And it's a very simple thing to do. Now, at this point, when they say, I want to make money and earn free energy, that's where you go, okay, then it's time to enroll you in the system and let's get you signed up as a consultant. So, that's the brief overview of the system we use to gather customers and consultants. Your final step will be to print out our training manual. The training manual can be found at clarkinternationalgroup.com by clicking on Consultant Training and then looking for the manual as a PDF download that's right underneath in this training section. So, on behalf of my wife Kim, everybody on our team, we want to thank you for joining Ambit and being part of our Ambit family. We look forward to meeting and talking to you very soon.